Arctic projects are important for China and Russia because they offer both economic and strategic benefits for the two countries. China, as a non-Arctic state, is interested in the Arctic as a potential source of natural resources, such as oil, gas, and minerals, as well as a shorter shipping route to Europe and North America, known as the Polar Silk Road. Russia, as an Arctic state, is keen to develop its vast Arctic territories and assert its sovereignty over the region, especially the Northern Sea Route, which runs along its northern coast. By cooperating in the Arctic, China and Russia can complement each other's strengths and interests. China can provide capital, technology, and infrastructure support for Russia's Arctic projects, while Russia can offer China access to energy supplies, port facilities, and navigation data. The cooperation also enhances their political and security ties. The cooperation also helps them cope with the challenges posed by climate change, environmental protection, and scientific research in the region. The U.S. has been pursuing a strategy of containing and confronting China and Russia, two of its main geopolitical rivals, in various domains and regions. The U.S. has accused both countries of violating human rights, engaging in cyber attacks, and expanding their military and economic influence. The U.S. has also imposed sanctions and supported opposition movements in an attempt to counter the perceived threats from China and Russia. However, this approach has also increased the risks of escalation, as well as alienated some of its allies and partners who seek more cooperation and dialogue with Beijing and Moscow. The United States has imposed new sanctions on Russia on the 22nd of December, 2023 in response to continued use of its military-industrial base to support its aggression against Ukraine-Russia-Ukraine war. These sanctions mainly focused over foreign financial institutions that facilitate significant transactions for or on behalf of sanctioned Russian persons or entities, or for certain defense or energy-related projects involving Russia. The U.S. Treasury Department has designated several individuals and entities under various Russia-related sanctions programs, which also includes President Vladimir Putin's inner circle, as well as Russian state-owned or controlled entities. Recently, the U.S. government has announced a new round of sanctions on the Arctic LNG 2 project, which aims to produce liquefied natural gas in the Arctic region. The sanctions target companies and individuals involved in these projects, as well as their financial backers and suppliers, sparking backlash from both Russia and China. China, which has invested in the project and plans to cooperate with Russia on Arctic exploration and development, has denounced the sanctions as a violation of international law and an interference in other countries' internal affairs. Russia has also condemned the sanctions as an act of aggression and a breach of the spirit of cooperation in the Arctic region. Arctic LNG 2 is a Russian project for the production of liquefied natural gas in the Arctic region. A major objective of the program is to help Russia achieve its goal of securing 20% of the global LNG market by the year 2035. The project is owned by multiple companies across multiple countries, such as Total Energies and Japan Arctic LNG. Both companies are concerned about the impact of the proposed measures. The U.S. sanctions are part of a broader strategy to counter the growing influence and presence of China and Russia in the Arctic, which is seen as a key area for geopolitical competition and economic opportunities. The U.S. has accused China and Russia of pursuing aggressive and predatory policies in the Arctic, such as militarizing the region, violating the rights of indigenous peoples, and exploiting the environment. China and Russia have rejected these accusations and defended their rights and interests in the Arctic as legitimate and peaceful. The U.S. sanctions have drawn criticism from some analysts and observers who argue that they are counterproductive and harmful to the interests of all parties involved. Moreover, they suggest that the sanctions will push China and Russia closer together, strengthening their strategic partnership and cooperation in the Arctic and other regions. They urge the U.S. to adopt a more constructive and cooperative approach to the Arctic issues, rather than resorting to unilateral actions and pressure tactics. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and be sure to take a moment to subscribe.